Hi, I'm San Holo.
And I'm Underbelly.
And this is
Wholesome Riddim.
Stay vibrant.
In today's lesson, I'm going to show you how me and San Holo took the most vile, disgusting genre on the planet and somehow made it wholesome. But don't think this is just about rhythm. You can use these techniques to make any genre wholesome. It's all there if you follow these tips. Let's get started. Okay, so check it. Here's the very first idea I sent over to San. Okay, now this is fat. All right, but let's break it down a little bit. The rhythm kids really need something to headbang to, and what better way of doing that than with a really simple drum beat. We got the kick on the 1 and 3, nice little clap on the 3, and I've got these hi-hats that you can see I've nudged to be a little bit late. Now to add a little bit more interest, I'm using these top loops courtesy of my boy Grape Milk to add just some texture to the drums up top. I got this one, and I've chopped up this top loop as well. In total, they sound like this. Now just to squeeze these drums a bit together, I've got a saturate on the digital clip setting to kind of roll off those peaks. Now let's add some booty bass. Okay, let's go ahead and turn off all these effects and see what's going on inside good old sweet serum. It's quite simple really. I got a nice little triangle wave and I've got a very quick ramp down to make it short and plucky. You'll also see I have a very similar ramp on LFO1 which I'm mapping to the coarse pitch of oscillator A to kind of give it this like kicky percussive sort of sound. I've got a little bit of noise coming in from the noise oscillator and just a smidge of distortion, you know. Now to really give it character, I've got amp on here on the boost mode, ho-ho! Some ozone imager to widen up the high end and keep the bass mono. I've got Ahi's ultra disperser to add some wiggly wobbliness to the sound, some erosion for some noise. And of course my good friend Eli Derv's beautiful fat rack, holy shit! Just to control the amount of low in here, I've got multi-band compression, which allows me to sort of really dial in how much sub I want with this red slider here. Let's go over to View, Arrangement Track Controls, and open up the track options. Here I can move each individual track forward and backward in time. I'm gonna take the sub here and, I don't know, push it back like 40 milliseconds. Let's take a listen. Push it back even more. Okay, now that's too crazy. Somewhere around there, just to give it that classic rhythm swing. Okay, so now that we got the rhythm kids headbanging to some sick drums and sub, it's time for phase 2, adding harmony. Now we don't want to scare the rhythm kids having to think about chords and such. So let's start with something they already know and love, more bass. Now this is a technique I learned from my boy DJ K-Bump. Basically you go into the Serum Wavetable editor and you start drawing in these harmonics basically wherever you want. It just kind of adds a bit more character to the sound. Okay, that's probably a bit too screechy. Let's kind of bring back some of these ones. And then check out the rest of the patch. I got the reverb filter adding a bit of this phasey comb effect to my sound. That same LFO1 kind of creating that punchy peak on the coarse pitch to kind of give it this percussiveness. I got this LFO that I'm automating the rate up to make the bass faster or slower. A little bit of noise, a little bit of hyper, a little bit of OTT, and that's basically it. Got the good old ultra disperser, fat rack again, and I'm also cutting out the low end of this bass to make room for the sub. Let's hear them together. So now we can add a little bit of harmony to this, and I'm going to use this pretty sweet plugin called Chroma. Basically, Chroma is like auto-tune on steroids. You can run any sound through it, select a key, and make it sound like it's sort of harmonizing or playing chords in that scale. Without even them knowing it, the rhythm kids are headbanging to chords. So I sent that idea off to San, and this is what I got back. Oh shit! Got these beautiful vocal chops here that we're pitching up and down in a simpler, just a nice little bit of OTT and reverb, and it looks like he chopped up one of my melody loops to support the vocal chop. Okay, let's hear it all together. Oh my. San added some nice details to the drop. We've got these whomps at the beginning of each phrase. He's also layering the melody with these cute little bell plucks. Oh, so adorable. And then he took that beautiful melody and made a sweet piano intro as well. Oh gosh, San. Oh my God, the rhythm kids just want to hug each other now. Looks like we're using different layers of the good old classic Spitfire soft piano. We also decided to split the drop into two parts. The first one with this angelic Son Holo type melody, and the second part with those crazy wumpuses I made with DJ K-Bump's technique. Oh! Ha ha! Okay, now here's the problem. Sure, the Riddim kids are starting to have actual thoughts and feelings, but as a result, they're experiencing serious headbang withdrawals. Son asked me to make the sickest Riddim drop possible to give these kids the biggest headbangs of their lives so that they're finally ready to become wholesome. Here's the drop. So I'm starting things off with some samples from my boy Eli's Patreon pack, processing it with this saturator. I've got it on the wave shaper setting to add some sick noise, but the real star of the show is this gun bass. Got a bunch of the same processing I used earlier, a little bit of disperser action, the fat rack, OTT, that same saturator adds some noise. Really, to get into it, let's go into Sweet Serum. I'm gonna turn off all this, but what we're left with is just a big, beautiful sine wave. Now I'm distorting the shit out of it, of course, and I'm using the same techniques we did earlier to kind of give it a bit of percussiveness, but the real star of the show is this noise oscillator. Now I got this technique from my boy Odd Prophet. Basically, you find any crazy perk sound, you drag it into the noise oscillator, and you let that become the sort of gun part of the gun bass. So if we layer that with the oscillator here, so now we got that gun part and the fat sub underneath, and just to process it, glue it together a little bit more, I've got this filter. I'm using one of the multi-filters inside of Serum. I'm doing the bandpass notch filter, and we got this LFO mapped to the cutoff and the frequency to kind of create these wobbly frequency intersections. Ooh! Let's hear that in the mix. Oh! Now over here to kind of create these crazy wobbly pitch bends, I've resampled my gun bass, so I've converted it to audio, and I've put it in a simpler with the loop enabled. Over into the controls tab, I've got the glide going up, so that when I play multiple notes at the same time and switch between them, I'm able to sort of glide up and down and have the rate of the loop go faster and slower. Just got this low note coming up to that high note and back down again. So for this pitch down effect, I decided not to resample to audio, as I'm just automating the pitch bend inside of Sweet Serum here, and then I'm just manually slowing down the MIDI. I'm also interspersing a bunch of little plucks and laser sounds from my boy Sharks. Riddim kids, you don't have to be afraid. It's okay to have chords or even melodies in your drops. It's okay to feel. It's okay to love. It's okay to be wholesome. That's what Son Holo taught me. Thank you, Son, and thank you for watching. Our song and introduction to Wholesome Riddim is out now. I'm Underbelly. Stay vibrant.